So, what is this? Well, it's an exploration into religion and spirituality. My own journey, very authentic and open, is what it is. But I'm also going to be doing research into the different religions, denominations, and sects in my area. And I'll save that for the where video that's coming up very soon. But this is what it is. It's about me finding out more about where I am specifically in my own journey. I mean, yeah, I'm 59 years old. Okay, that's the age of this body, right? Um, my name is Tony Petroza, yes, but is that I'm much more than Tony Petroza. That's that's my identity of this ego, the ego, which is the psyche of my mind, not even my brain. My brain is just an organ, a very important organ. But hopefully it's working very well between these two ears. That the primary function of the brain, people don't realize this, a lot of people don't, is that it's to survive. That's what it's always been, right? That's the biological purpose of it, is to survive. Of course, we as sentient creatures, humans, primates, animals, we realize that wow, we are much more than just apes that can build civilizations. We're not apes, we're primates, but we're not apes. Um, and and that we have souls. Now, what is a soul? As my buddy, my my best friend Tommy Boston and I, he's also my protege. I don't say that to assert some domination, but just to show that well, this guy Tommy knows more about Buddhism, much more about Buddhism than I do. I know a thimble compared to him, but I have a great um, proclivity for it, instinct for it, and we had a podcast that included Zen and psychology. I've helped him. I used to sponsor him in NA long ago. We both recovered from addiction, and we're making a course. We're both studying uh, Marcus Aurelius's the Meditations, and as we study it, we're turning it into a course, which will be on my revolutionary app Proficio, which is if you're interested in Stoicism, Marcus Aurelius, the Meditations, this is for you. And this is totally for Christians too, by the way. No matter what your religious outlook is, that's fantastic. Okay, that's it. I just wanted to describe how close I am with Tommy, and we're best friends among other things. And he, Christianity. Christianity is a very interesting thing. One of the how I got back into this really is a funny thing. Um, what I'm working on my business for years now. It's a revolutionary. I'm the head of a technological coaching company when we've created a revolutionary app, and I one of the things I do is I plan out my company when it grows and it staffs out, and so it's organizational and has a hierarchy. I'm fascinated by those things, and one of those, and so and the Catholic Church as well as the angelic church. Did I say that right? Anglican. I'm sorry, Anglican Church, uh, in England are very similar in their structures, and I'm borrowing from that on the culture side, not the business side, but the culture side. Um, so I started delving back into that, even though I was quite familiar being growing up in the Catholic Church, and having aspirations to get into it, become a priest when I was a child. But then I started researching, that the church more, and my thirst for Jesus, I started tasting it in my mouth, if you will, my spiritual mouth, my soul's mouth, and it's gotten me back to where I am, And so I started. Well, last year I have a journal. My girlfriend and I went to church twice, once upstate, once down here, And I started, I like a year or two, no, 2 years ago, I'm like, I want to go back to church. Just want to go back to church. Not every Sunday or regularly. I wanted to go, every now and then I want to go back. And sometimes I actually made it there. Maybe I went to church twice in 23, 2023, and twice in 2024. Well, I made it there at the beginning part of 2025 with my girlfriend Shannon. By the way, it's a very interesting thing. As my I get deeper into my exploration and thing with Jesus, she simultaneously has done the same with paganism, and the goddess Hecate. So maybe she's getting into shamanism. I'm gonna call it Shannonism. It's really good. It's all good stuff, Listen, everybody's in their own journey, and beliefs are just beliefs, right? We all live in reality, but in truth, we all live in our perception of reality. All right. Yeah, if two people with two different perceptions, of course, we all have our own, both jumped off the Empire State Building. The reality is they'll be hitting hard, both of them, no matter what their perceptions. But one might enjoy the ride, the fall down. That's the difference. Okay. I just came up with the punchline, if you will, at the end, improvisationally. Anyway, so it's very interesting, her pursuit of this knowledge. Anyway, so what happened was we went together, and in truth, even though I grew up Catholic and Shannon is a Jew, she knows more about the Catholic Mass, and because when she was married, she married into that, and she went to a bunch of Catholic masses and Catholic training. And for me, it's so long ago, and my memory is so bad. But she knows all the different parts of the Mass, and I don't, and she helps me with that. Anyway, we went to Our Lady of Guadalupe here in Bensonhurst, Brooklyn, and I went to the Spanish speaking mass on a Saturday evening because the Catholic Church has obviously everyone knows that Sunday is the religious day, right, for Christianity, but the Catholic churches, at least here in Brooklyn, they also offer an early bird special. You can go in lieu of going to the Sunday morning mass or Sunday noon. You can go to the Saturday evening mass, which is typically held at 5:30 p.m. I think they call it vigil, and so this is in lieu of the Sunday mass. So we went, and we inadvertently went to the Spanish speaking one. Now there's because in my area in Bensonhurst, I moved back from Los Angeles like 30 years ago, and and I saw that the Russians and Chinese were the new population that had come in. And what happened is during the 90s, the Russians dissipated. I think they focused more on the beach side, down the peninsula, Coney Island, and the Chinese increased. But there's also another population which is less obvious, and that's Spanish speaking population, people from Mexico and Central America and South America, no doubt, but primarily Mexicans. And the great thing about Our Lady of Guadalupe, that's a Mexican shrine. And that's the school I went to, the parish, my whole life, in my childhood. And so it was the Spanish speaking mass has their biggest attendance now because the Italian population has greatly dwindled. And now I would say that half the population of Bensonhurst now is Chinese. And a lot of them don't speak English. I don't even think a lot of them are papers, quite frankly, but that's not what this video is about. And that's why the parish has greatly dwindled. They closed the schools because they just can't support it. They don't have the children that are Catholics to go to school there, so they closed down one section of school, then the other section. That's what it is. But the Spanish speaking mass had a really good attendance, and it was wonderful. And it was wonderful just to be humble there and not, and you could hear the words, they're Spanish words, and sometimes you hear an English word interspersed, but you don't understand them, in terms of the semantics, but you can get the tones, right? and you can see the people. Body language is actually the primary form of human communication. Obviously, that's you have to be able to see the person, but you can see a group. There's a body language of a group. So that tone is the second most important part. The words come after that. And then there's the spiritual aspect of the mass, right? So it was wonderful. And afterwards, it was a wonderful mass. It was wonderful to go through it that way, where you didn't get to understand things intellectually and had to go to use these other modes of human communication. Afterwards, I spoke to the father, whose name was Father Martin. Um, and I told him, I heard his words, and I heard his words, and uh, and I wasn't trying to be clever, I was just, that I heard what he was saying, even though I didn't understand the words he was saying. But he blessed me, impromptu. I didn't ask for it, I didn't solicit it, but he blessed me, and I felt something. It was delightful. I was like, oh, it was wonderful. So, and I really loved that. I had a wonderful feeling after he blessed me. And the next day, okay, well, I don't know. I just went about my life, and then, but I was thinking about Jesus more starting the next day, and I didn't realize this until I was retrospective, and then finally, Sunday. Oh no, no, this Saturday. Oh yeah, this Saturday, I um, I went. My girlfriend kind of kicked me in, not kind of, she kicked me in the ass to go to confession because she knows I wanted to receive communion, but I didn't want to receive communion because I didn't believe Jesus was God. I'm like, like you can't um, really receive communion unless you believe Jesus is God. That's the whole thing. But she said, go to so I was balking, but she was saying, get to confession. I went to confession. Uh, and something happened, something that blew me away. Uh, in those few hours at Our Lady of Guadalupe, where I met uh, Father Prince, a foreigner. I met him before. I met him a year ago at Our Lady of Guadalupe, and I don't know what kind of accent he has. He's a wonderful black man, and he is such a likable person. And he told me about a year ago, he says, I got a feeling I'm going to be seeing more of you. And I said, I hope you will. And then I saw him today is what? Today is January 4th, Tuesday, January 14th, Tuesday. I saw him Saturday, and he listened to my confession, and he cleansed me. I was cleansed. And then that was a wonderful feeling. And then something incredible happened when I began to do what's called the Stations of the Crucifixion at that church. But I'm going to leave that story for another video because this is long. This is one a lot longer than I expected to. But that is the real deal. That's the blowout video. That what happened blew me away, and I'm really looking forward to sharing it with you because it's wonderful.